Hey guys, it's Liz. Welcome to the recap of the Patriots versus Titans wildcard game. The Patriots lose 20-13, and that concludes their season. And the Titans will go on to be absolutely annihilated by the Ravens. So I will recap the game shortly and then share my thoughts after. So the game got delayed a couple of minutes because of the Bills-Texans game that went into overtime. Didn't really have much of an impact. Weather wasn't really a factor either. It was foggy, but who cares? The Titans won the toss and deferred. And then in the first quarter, not a ton happened. The Patriots got a field goal at one point. The defense struggled the entire game with Henry running the ball. I think he wound up with like 180-something yards at the end of the game. I said they needed to stop the run. They didn't. Chung got hurt again. Apparently Landon Roberts also got hurt at some point in the second half of the game. We'll talk about that later. The running game and the offense, the running game was going okay for the first part of the game. I thought that Sony Michel and James White and Rex Burkhead were running pretty well, I thought, in the first half of the game. The screen was working really well, but then the second half it just fell apart. So, moving on to the second quarter, Edelman scored a touchdown. It was the only touchdown of the game. Then the defense went back on the field, and Adam Butler knocked down the ball on a 3rd and 3 play. Sanu had a really good punt return in the second quarter for 24 yards, which that resulted eventually in a Folk field goal, which brought them to 14 points, or I don't remember. Then Henry scored a touchdown. At the end of the second half, the Patriots got the ball, and because of the situation they were in, they couldn't kick a field goal, so they tried a Hail Mary pass. That failed. It was knocked down in the end zone. So then we get to the third quarter. They quote-unquote started with a Super Bowl defense. They had 2 guys on the outside. Everybody else was on the inside. Obviously, that didn't help them at all because Harry ran down their throats the whole game. Henry, sorry. So then, talking about N'Keal Harry, he was bad the whole game. He was very inconsistent and just unreliable. There was a big play in the third quarter to Ben Watson. He made a really nice, it was like a 35-ish yard catch, I think, but that was called back from a penalty by Shaq Mason. He was an eligible man downfield, so that killed that drive. And right after that, Bailey had a really bad 30-yard punt. He was terrible in this game. He picked this game to have the worst game of his season, so I don't know what the Patriots will do next year. He was really bad in this game, and it makes you wonder why they didn't get rid of Ryan Allen, because in this situation he probably would have been way better. I'm looking over to my notes. That's why you keep seeing me look off the screen here. Then Tannehill fumbled because of a bad snap, but they recovered the ball. The Titans have a fantastic punter, and he nailed the Patriots in the third quarter on the 7-yard line. Pats got the ball, and then Bailey once again had a touchback because he sucked in this game. The fourth quarter opened with a Harmon interception, which led to the offense doing absolutely nothing and again leading to a terrible punt. Defense went back on the field. Gilmore got hurt and went into the tent. I guess they evaluated him for a head injury, but on the next series he went back onto the field. The defense was just tired and burnt out at this point. So on the fourth, there was a 4th and 4 on the 36, and if I were the coach, I probably would have gone for it, but the Titans instead decided to do this nonsense where they took a couple of delay of games, and I guess the rule is that if you do it before the 5-minute mark, if you do too many of them in a row, you can wind up with an unsportsmanlike conduct call. I guess that's trickery that Belichick did in the past. I don't remember that, but what happened was they had 2 delay of games, and then the Patriots had a neutral zone infraction, which I guess wiped those away, and then the Titans punted at that point, and it was on the 9-yard line. When the Patriots had the ball back, Edelman made a gigantic drop, which was very Welker-esque at that point. Bailey at that point had a decent punt. It was a 51-yard punt. Gilmore was back on the field. And this is when they announced that Roberts wasn't basically playing the entire second half. Apparently he had some sort of an upper body injury. I have no idea what happened there. Tennessee got called for an illegal formation. and then they converted a 3rd and 8, and then they scored a touchdown. So at the very end of the game, when the Patriots got the ball back, they were on the 1-yard line because, again, of a fantastic punt. They tried to do a bunch of fumbles, and it just failed. The clock expired, and the Patriots lose 20-13. So in a nutshell, the team sucks, and I honestly didn't think they were going to win this game, and everything I said they were supposed to do in this game, they didn't do. So what do we think is going to happen going forward? So first and foremost, if the Patriots decide to keep Brady, he needs to have written in his contract that they need to sign receivers and tight ends. This year it was ridiculous. They had Antonio Brown and they cut him. They could have kept him through the bullshit, but they didn't. So yeah, so that's one thing they definitely need to do. I'm going to assume that Josh McDaniels is going to be gone. I'm not really sure, though. I know he's interviewing for head coaching jobs. Now he can because they lost. What's going to happen to the rest of the coaches? I don't know. Other people that I would like to see gone from the team personally are Sanu. He's god-awful, and I really think he really destroyed the offense ever since he came to the team. I don't know. This team has just been a very disappointing team compared to last year. Like, I know they lost players, but they didn't in return get anybody to really fill the holes that Gronk had, and the tight ends they had were just mediocre. So they were left with a bunch of scrubs on offense trying to make up for, the team they had the year before. And the defense, in the end, the defense was great the first half of the season, and then I think they just fell apart and they got too pompous and cocky, and the last couple of games, I think we really saw that. It's either they fell apart or they just stopped playing because the offense was so bad. Nobody literally will know. So the season's over, and yeah, it was an embarrassing loss. It's been an embarrassing season as a Patriots fan. So we will now look forward to see what they do in the offseason, what happens with Brady, what happens with McDaniels, what happens to Bill. I don't think Bill will leave, but who knows? I mean, anything is up for game now. Brady's contract is over, so I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know if he's going to leave. I mean, if he did leave, hopefully a team would pick him up that actually cares about him and get some good players. I feel like that happens everywhere else, but the Patriots are cheap assholes, and they never get good players, and they don't pay them, so that's the offense. On the defensive side, I know a lot of those guys are also up for their contracts. I know specifically, I think Kyle Van Noy's contract is up. So are they going to pay him to stay? I don't know. I think Slater's contract is up. Will he stay around? Will he retire? I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with the team. It's all up. I don't have a crystal ball to say this is what's going to happen in the next couple of months here. So, yeah, so I'm not going to sit here and whine and complain too much longer because there's not much else to say other than they need to get Brady help if he sticks around. And if they don't, I don't know what's going to happen with the team. Nobody knows at this point. Everybody's speculating what's going to happen. We'll find out what happens, at some other time. So the Patriots lose 20-13. The Titans will go on to get absolutely demolished by the Ravens, which I pretty much think the Ravens now have a straight shot to the Super Bowl and probably have a good chance of winning. On the NFC side, that no one will know what will happen. The games are on Sunday. So, yeah, Super Bowl champs lose in the wild card round. So this just goes back to saying that they can't win games unless they have the bye, which is pretty embarrassing. So that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I guess stay tuned for whatever they do in the off season. I don't know if we'll cover anything else for the rest of the season. We might. I'm not sure. But stick around and join us on the rodeo of this embarrassing season. All right, guys. This is Liz. Thanks for watching. Have a good night. Bye.